You are an amazing rabbit owner, and that means you want to provide the best, healthy, happy life for your pet that you can manage. So today let's take a closer look at a very important topic, and that is a natural diet for your pet rabbit. Welcome back to Jana Brock's Bunny Talks. I'm Jana. This is part 2 of my series on things to know about pet rabbits. In part 1 of this series, I shared 8 things to know about your pet rabbit. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at an appropriate diet for your animal. My disclaimer on this topic, I am sharing information that applies to healthy rabbits in general, or those rabbits who can become healthy by providing a proper diet, proper care, and a safe environment. There are always exceptions, and there are always controversial topics when it comes to these animals. This is what has worked for me over the years and kept every rabbit healthy and happy after they come into my care. So what is safe for your pet rabbit? How many times should you feed your bunny? Should you continually offer your bunny different foods? Or would it be best to stay with a fairly basic diet that I know is safe and healthy for my pet? What about lettuces, herbs, water, hay, wood for chewing? Are made for human treats safe for your pet rabbit? What about big name brand and so-called rabbit treats that you find on store shelves, including pet stores? One thing we all love about social media is you can learn just about anything. But that is also the thing that we do not like about social media. Along with the good information, there's a lot of harmful information. But when it comes to feeding and proper care of your pet rabbit, there is information that is available, that is credible. Science still to this day lacks comprehensive studies that are very specific to house rabbits. So rabbits get kind of lumped into this very broad category of exotic pets. Really, rabbits need to have their own category, separate and apart from all the other exotic pets in the world. This problem may not be visible to you if you're a pet owner who has 1 rabbit or 2 or 3 rabbits in your home. However, once you begin doing very in-depth research, studying the biology of these animals, or go to maybe several exotic pet veterinarians, you can see the problem a little bit more clearly. I don't want to get too far off on that topic. That's a big, complex topic, pretty well documented, how to choose your veterinarian, what exotic pet veterinarian means, what a rabbit specialty on top of a pet veterinarian means, all those things that you have to kind of dig very deeply to get into all that kind of expertise. But here's the bottom line. You cannot expect someone to give you accurate advice about how to safely and responsibly care for a house rabbit if that person has never once had a pet rabbit living in their home or living even with them. It just would not make sense to ask someone who has had no day-to-day hands-on experience in that area. So again, we have to be careful where we get our information. Now, addressing a natural for rabbit healthy diet. We know that rabbits are herbivores. Herbivores should only eat that which is grown from the earth. That means plants, leaves, grasses, hay, that sort of thing. It would be difficult to understand why the diet of a rabbit is so important without mentioning some facts about their digestive system and also their teeth. In order to talk about this properly, we need to talk about long strand hay. Because hay should make up most of a healthy rabbit's diet, it makes sense that we should spend some time talking about it. So there are 2 very good reasons to always have a fresh supply of hay, that is long strand hay, for your pet rabbit. The first reason is your rabbit's digestive system, just the way the rabbit is created, just the way these animals were made. Your rabbit's gut, the digestive process, the digestive system, depends on very coarse fiber foods such as hay, to keep it strong and moving properly. Grass hay, Timothy hay, and other long strand hay is immensely important. For healthy rabbits, it is estimated that hay should make up 75 to 85% of the diet every single day. Some sources say even up to 90% of a rabbit's diet should be long strand coarse fiber hay. Some rabbits eat more hay than others just because of the percentage of greens or pellets that the owner feeds them. But also, the percentage can vary depending on whether your rabbit goes outside to forage. During foraging times, grass and leaves are also consumed. These things are also very, very good for their digestive system. It's coarse fiber and it helps them move food through their digestive system properly. So again, it just depends. But the point is, fresh and fibrous hay should always be available to your pet rabbit. I mentioned your rabbit's gut muscles staying strong. The The digestion of a constant supply of hay strengthens that digestive process. What happens if your rabbit's digestive system slows down? Well, that's a serious problem for rabbits. Rabbits are susceptible to a condition called gastrointestinal stasis, or GI stasis for short. Gastrointestinal stasis is when your rabbit's gut muscles or digestive system slows down or stops altogether. When this happens, your rabbit is not able to process any food and is likely going to experience a lot of pain. Rabbits that are not eating will quickly experience a series of cascading health events. He stops eating, he stops drinking, and he stops pooping. It doesn't take long before that rabbit is at serious risk for death. If your rabbit is not eating, drinking, or pooping, please take him or her to the veterinarian immediately. I treat GA stasis here just as other people do who have a lot of hands-on experience dealing with those problems. However, I don't give that kind of advice online because I'm not with your rabbit and I cannot take responsibility for your rabbit's health. I will tell you that very gentle tummy rubs help, as does encouraging the bunny to hop around and encourage consumption of a treat, something he will eat, just anything to get the bunny's digestive system moving again. However, because there are so many reasons that a rabbit might stop eating or drinking, maybe that's not what's wrong with your rabbit. Maybe your rabbit's got an injury and needs to see the veterinarian regardless. So again, my advice is if your rabbit is acting sick, not moving around, not playing, not eating, not pooping, not drinking, just totally acting out of character and it goes on, I would take him to the vet. Feed your rabbit properly. Mostly long strand, coarse, and fibrous hay is one of the best insurance policies of making sure that your rabbit has a healthy gut and that his digestive system keeps moving properly, keeps processing food as it should. Of course, there are other contributors to GI stasis, other illnesses in rabbits, other things that can happen, such as not properly grooming your pet rabbit, extra fur in the digestive system. That should all be brushed off regularly so it doesn't wind up in your rabbit's mouth, in your rabbit's digestive system, because that can also stop a gut from moving. There's all kinds of things that can cause digestive blockages. If you do not bunny-proof your home properly and he or she starts eating what they should not, there's just all kinds of problems that are completely avoidable. But the second reason your rabbit needs an unlimited supply of long strand hay, because it helps his teeth stay properly ground down. Your rabbit has a combination of incisors and molars. In other words, your rabbit's teeth are meant for chewing and grinding. They're not meant for ripping and shredding meat like your teeth of your cat or your dog. A healthy rabbit has 28 teeth in its mouth. These teeth all grow constantly throughout the rabbit's life. Unless you provide coarse hay and also wood to chew on constantly, your rabbit's teeth will grow too long. Long, grown-out teeth that are not properly naturally ground down cause all kinds of problems. Bark, wood, and hay help the rabbit naturally grind down his teeth every single day as he eats and chews. If a rabbit does not have safe wood or bark or unlimited hay every day, their teeth grow longer than what is normal for a rabbit. And when that happens, the rabbit is not able to eat properly. From there, the suffering gets worse very quickly. If you allow your rabbit's teeth to grow like that, you will be facing a sick or dead rabbit unless you get immediate dental help. To treat teeth problems is extremely expensive. If you can even find a veterinarian dentist to treat him locally near you at all, sometimes this is thousands and thousands of dollars. Where I live, we don't have a veterinarian that specializes in that specifically for rabbits. And so too long teeth in your pet rabbit is something that can be avoided most of the time unless something's genetically wrong or there's some other problem. But it is not something that can be ignored. Just like the digestive system staying as strong and healthy as possible, this is an avoidable problem. And the way to avoid that problem is make sure your rabbit has plenty of hard, safe wood to chew on, in addition to an unlimited supply of long strand hay at all times. Hopefully you can see how important it is to provide fresh hay to your pet rabbit. And it all really is to benefit the diet, because in the second reason I gave you was the teeth being properly ground down. Even that is a dietary concern because, again, if their teeth grow too long, too fast, and they aren't ground down properly day to day like they need to be, then the diet of the rabbit is a moot point. The rabbit cannot eat. So please always supply fresh, long strand, fibrous hay for your pet rabbit, and also wood to chew on. The rest of the rabbit's diet really is fairly simple. It has worked for me day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year with all the rabbits I've ever had in my care. I feed my rabbits in this percentage every day. I feed 5% of the diet high quality food pellets. 5% of the diet is some kind of rabbit safe treat. 10 to 15% of the diet is safe greens, leaves, vegetables such as red leaf lettuce, dandelion, strawberry leaves, raspberry plant leaves, that sort of thing. And then 75 to 85% of my rabbit's diet is Timothy hay, brome, orchard grass hay, fresh grass from the yard, all which is free of chemicals and sprays. Feeding can, of course, vary depending on the age of the rabbit. For example, alfalfa hay is fed to new rabbit kits up to about 6 to 8 months old, at which time the alfalfa hay should be phased out of the diet altogether. Alfalfa hay, if used at all, should only be fed as an occasional treat to older rabbits. Alfalfa has been shown to cause some problems as rabbits age. So if you're getting advice from the ones that have lots of rabbits in cages and use these animals for anything other than responsible pet ownership, you're going to get some bad advice on hay. And this brings me back again to the point I always make. If you want to learn best care practices for pet rabbit ownership, be careful where you get your information. A lot of these rabbits that are used for purposes other than pet ownership are consigned to lives of misery. Small cages, mostly fed pellets. They don't get to run around, a lot of them. That's not always true. A lot of these rabbits don't get to run around and play, and some of them are horribly abused and neglected and wind up in hoarding situations where rabbit rescues have to come in and see the saddest things with regard to the way people treat animals. And it's unfortunately especially still true today of rabbits. When discussing the diet of a rabbit, I always come back to a few simple basics. Provide unlimited fresh water, clean water, unlimited fresh supply of hay, small amount of high quality pellets, small percentage of rabbit safe greens, 1 treat per day, a treat that's safe for rabbits. Stay close to nature and make sure you make food changes very slowly. A rabbit's gut flora needs time to adjust to any new food, especially new pellet brands or a new green food like a vegetable or a type of lettuce or spring mix or whatever. If you give your rabbit too many greens, he or she will overproduce something called secretropes. A secretrope is a shiny clump of smelly poops that are ingested immediately after your rabbit discards them or excretes them. In the same way a rabbit would poop those round Cocoa Puff poops that we see in the litter box, so many of them a day. These little secretropes are meant for the rabbit to reconsume. They're highly dense, nutrient-packed things that your rabbit needs to reconsume. You shouldn't ever see them, and you shouldn't be seeing them laying around or smelling them at all. A rabbit should reconsume them right away if it's a healthy rabbit that's not being fed too many greens or being fed food it shouldn't eat. If the rabbit's system is working properly and you're feeding him or her properly, they should disappear as soon as they come out of the rabbit system. It's not just overproduction of secretropes that are of concern if you misfeed your rabbits. If the rabbit has too many greens or an abrupt dietary change, or maybe fed foods that aren't good for him, foods that are made for humans like popcorn and cookies and all these chips and things that humans should never give rabbits, your rabbit could get loose poops or even diarrhea. And this is a death sentence for rabbits if it's not immediately addressed. I don't get diarrhea in the rabbits I have because I feed them all the same way very consistently. And if a rabbit does come in my care that has diarrhea, which has happened many times, they don't get greens, they don't get pellets, they get hay. And I will do anything I can to get that rabbit to eat hay so that that diarrhea clears up right away. But my suggestion is, if you're not very well informed on how to treat these kind of problems with rabbits, take your rabbit to the veterinarian if they have signs of diarrhea or any gut issues like this. Again, they can go into dehydration, they can quickly succumb to GI stasis, and all death sentences for rabbits if they're not dealt with quickly. To get your bunny to eat more hay, you can rub raisins or bananas on the hay for your bunny. You've gotten rabbits to eat hay the rabbit has come from owners and said, oh, he or she doesn't like hay. I've never given him hay. That rabbit's eating hay within a couple days, and it's not that the rabbit doesn't like hay or it's not natural for the rabbit to eat hay or grass. That's not the problem. There are ways that you can transfer a rabbit onto hay, and rabbits, for the reasons I stated above, should have hay. Anyway, a healthy rabbit, absent extenuating circumstances, anyway, your rabbit should be eating hay every day, all day and night. During the summertime, I grow raspberries on my property for the sole purpose of feeding the leaves to my bunnies. I do this about 6-7 months out of each year, as long as the raspberry plants continue to produce leaves. And I will include a raspberry for each bunny once in a great while on their evening salad, just for some variety. I don't feed my bunnies a lot of fruit. Again, diarrhea being the problem and concern. And also fruit has a very high content of sugar, especially dehydrated fruit. And that sugar can cause teeth problems in your rabbit. So you have to be careful with those things. I also grow strawberry plants for the very same reason. The bunnies here eat strawberry leaves in their morning and evening salads about 7 months out of each year. I grow dandelions intentionally for the very same reason, to add to the bunny salads. They eat them every day, 6-7 months out of the year. And I'll buy them at the store the other months of the year because dandelion greens are important for rabbits. They have nutrients that work very well with their systems. I also have planted 2 different varieties of apple trees in my yard. Those trees not only provide birds with homes during all seasons of the years. I feed the hummingbirds around here even in the winter time. But also I use the apple leaves in the spring, summer, and fall in salads for the bunnies. And I also grow my own red and green lettuces, parsley, basil, carrots, and dill in the warm seasons. These homegrown plants supply my bunnies with natural salads that includes things that rabbits eat if they lived out in nature. When I use carrots, I feed the green carrot tops. As far as the carrot, the orange part, I will put a few shavings in their salads, but carrots is not a main source of food for rabbits, nor should they be fed a lot of carrots. During the winter time, I can't really grow plants where I live. It's just too cold and wet outside, but I slowly transition the bunnies over to an organic spring mix that I can buy locally here in the stores. I usually add some parsley, again, a few carrot shreds, just very, very few, and some basil or dill. And I try to find, carrot tops again in the store. A lot of times the stores will cut off the greens and they want to throw the greens away and sell the carrots. Well, if you go into an organic section and ask, sometimes the stores will set aside the greens for you if you go pick them up, at a certain time each week or day or whatever. And the stores around here also sell long or organic dandelion greens in the wintertime. So my rabbits get those in the wintertime as well. But the key point there is winter and summer. When the seasons change and I have to switch their diet from what I'm growing in my yard to what I'm buying in the store or vice versa, I do it slowly. It takes a week or 2 to transition all the bunnies over so that there's no overconsumption or overproduction of cecotropes. There's no diarrhea. There's no tummy problems, nothing. I'm just used to doing that twice a year. We're back on the yard diet and the garden diet that I grow myself. And then when that goes out of season and it's too cold to grow those things anymore, then we transition slowly back onto the store diet. And I call it the store diet and the garden diet because either I'm growing it or I'm buying it from the store. Depends on the season. And I stay with 2 meals a day, some pellets and a salad in the morning, and then some pellets and a salad at night. 2 meals a day. And the reason I feed my rabbits 2 meals a day rather than one big meal like a lot of people do is because it gives me a built-in well check for every single rabbit every morning and every night. If one of the rabbits is not excited to eat one of the meals I give them, I know something is wrong with that rabbit and I need to take a closer look. Now, one of my rabbits has special needs, and as a small kit, several weeks old, 6 weeks old, I think she came to me that way. And she gets GI stasis. She has her whole life. It's been a real problem. She's also the fluffiest. She's a tiny little rabbit, but she's very, very fluffy. This problem started when she was just little. As a kit, she was born to a litter where she was the only survivor. And she was brought to me. I was told that all her litter mates died and that she had been sick too, but they had all died of a disease called encephalitis zoonosis, and that is a disease that affects the spinal cord and brains of these animals. It can also cause kidney function problems. Anyway, it killed all her litter mates. She was successfully treated for it. The disease is actually caused by E. caniculi, which is a protozoan parasite, and it's more commonly known as E. caniculi by people in the rabbit world. My book, Bunny Conversations, The Entertaining Dialogue of Pet Rabbits, I wrote that book strictly to help other rabbit owners to have credible information. I kept it priced very low. It's on Amazon. It's on other book outlets all over the world. And it very accurately describes all this information about feeding your pet rabbit, in what amounts, what's healthy. I have a lot of tips and tricks in there, even for expert rabbit owners that have had rabbits for a long time. So the work I do as far as publishing is truly a labor of love. And it's for the benefit of you, the rabbit owner, and all your furry friends so that they can stay happy and healthy. I hope this video was helpful. As always, be kind to animals and thank you for caring.